As Secretary General, I would seek to place sustainable development and control of climate change at the center of the organization's endeavors, and intend to direct the entire UN system to prioritize work on this crucial issue. The ninth Secretary General will also take up the post at a time of pervasive global instability. I believe it is possible to meet the emerging challenges that emanate from that, but only if there is an overhaul of how the UN conducts preventive diplomacy and peace operations. I also believe that we need a new generation of UN stabilization missions that could be deployed whenever and wherever a need arose. I would also seek to enhance the organization's overall counterterrorism capability, as well as work on developing multilateral responses to non-conventional threats, such as those emanating from cyberspace. Last, but certainly not least, recurrent evidence of sexual abuse by peacekeepers is an awful stain on our organization. This issue must be addressed aggressively and completely. For decades, the UN has worked to alleviate the plight of refugees and other populations affected by armed conflict, as well as natural disasters and catastrophes. Yet its current capacity to provide humanitarian relief, support, and assistance in the face of current crisis has proven to be inadequate. When I recently visited the Syrian refugee camps in the Middle East, I was shocked by the suffering and hopelessness. It is painfully evident that we haven't yet found sustainable solutions for humanitarian crises of this magnitude. As Secretary General, I would act decisively to mobilize sufficient resources on part of the UN system to provide appropriate humanitarian assistance to affected populations around the world. When it comes to the issue of the refugees, as I said in my opening remarks, I believe this is one of the foundational crises of our time, and one of the greatest tests of credibility of this organization's and international community at large. But as I said, it doesn't end at providing them with food, shelter, and basic goods. I intend to relentlessly promote the rights of refugees and other displaced persons worldwide. I believe it is about their future, not only about keeping them alive. It's about giving them a chance to succeed in the complex and technologically driven world of the 21st century. As UN's Chief Administrative Officer, I would dedicate myself to delivering better value for money to the member states, cutting waste, eliminating redundancy, and ensuring greater coherence and quality. I intend to relentlessly fight corruption, fraud, and abuse, protect internal whistleblowers, strengthen the independence and operations of the Office of the Internal Oversight Services, require financial disclosures for all applicable staff and nominees for high appointments, create an annual unified and transparent UN budget, and try and develop a system-wide approach to recruitment. The 1995 Beijing Declaration established the goal of 50-50 gender parity in the UN system. Yet more than 2 decades later, that goal is far from being achieved. Today, less than a third of senior UN positions are held by women. As Secretary General, I would therefore appoint qualified women to 50% of UN Under-Secretary General of equivalent positions from day one. And I would strive to achieve gender parity in appointments for SRSGs and resident coordinators, and also develop plans to rapidly ensure equal representation in director-level positions within the Secretariat.